As always, first and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakakwadash. Peace, blessings, much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. And the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. John chapter 8 and verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So the majority of our people are of their father, the devil. Now, someone will read this and they'll think, well, this must be speaking of the spiritual demon Satan. This isn't speaking of the spiritual demon Satan. This is speaking of Esau through the Spirit. And you'll understand if you have ears to hear after a while, if you don't understand now. So reading this again, it says, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. So who was the first murderer according to the Bible? You should know that answer. Okay? The first murderer was Cain. Cain was that wicked one who slew his brother. And we'll get that here in a second. All right? And abode not in the truth. So anyone who doesn't abide in the truth, the Lord is not abiding in you. Showing you the Lord's not with these devils at all. Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. So our people take after the same spirit as the first murderer. The first murderer being Cain. Now let's go to 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. So what was the first sin that the devil committed? The first sin that the devil committed was to slay his brother. Okay? Cain slew Abel. So our people take after their father, the devil, being Cain. All right? He that committed sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose, the son of the power was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Verse 12. Not as Cain, who was of the wicked one, who was the first murderer. Okay. Not as Cain, who was of the wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous. So the first murderer was Cain. Our people take after their father, Cain. And you can find that account where he slew his brother in Genesis chapter 4 and verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Why? Because Abel's sacrifice was righteous and Cain's was wicked, and he was mad about that. Okay, so he slew his brother. 1 John 3 and 12, not as Cain, who was of the wicked one, who is the father of the majority of our people spiritually, because they take after this same spirit, okay, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous. Okay. Abel offered up a righteous sacrifice. He did it lawfully. Cain offered up a sacrifice based off of what he wanted to do. He offered up fruits, I believe it was. The Lord didn't ask for no fucking fruits. All right. You can't just do things how you want to do them. So that same spirit that Cain had towards Abel, Esau had towards Jacob. So let's go to Genesis chapter 27. I believe it's, what's that, 40? 41. Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So just like Cain hated Abel, right? Esau hated Jacob because it's the same spirits. All right. Cain is a reincarnated version of Esau. So Esau was once Cain. Okay. Cain came back as Esau, the older brother of Jacob. Okay. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Now, the only difference is Esau never had opportunity to slay Jacob, but Cain certainly did slay his brother Abel. Same spirits, Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau. All right. Now we have to remember what the scripture says about Esau. Didn't it say that Esau came out red? And the reason why, matter of fact, let's hold that. Let's go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So a mark was set upon Cain. That mark that was set upon Cain was he lost his melanin. He became known as a leper. He had leprosy. So he looked different, and that was to also help hide his identity. All right. So seeing that part of Cain's punishment for slaying Abel was a mark was placed upon him. What was that mark? That mark was leprosy. Hence, when Cain came back through the reincarnation, that same mark was placed upon him. Let's go to Genesis 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So the reason why he came out red, well, it goes back to his past life. His sin followed him, right? A mark was placed upon Cain. That same mark came back when he came as Esau, okay, who came out red, which means he came out different than everybody else. All right. The mark of Cain differentiated him from others. Everybody else had melanin. Cain was stripped from that melanin. So when he came back through reincarnation as Esau, he came out as red. The reason why is because that mark was still upon him. When you go to the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7, it reads, and the Lord power formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So man was formed from the dust of the ground. Up until Cain, everybody was melanated. Everybody was brown skinned. So Cain had that mark set upon him, which was that mark of leprosy. Okay. Now, when you go to Leviticus, all right, stay with me. Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 13 and verse 42. It says, and if there be in the bald head or bald forehead a white reddish sore. So it says white reddish. See, Esau came out red. Cain had leprosy. Leprosy, it's a white reddish sore. Okay. A white reddish sore, it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head. or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white, reddish in his bald head, or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man. He is unclean. So Esau Edom is a natural leper. Okay, the difference between a leper and a natural leper, a leper is unclean. He could spread that plague, but a natural leper such as Esau, you could actually touch him and all that, and it won't spread to you. So when you go into this word, right, the word I believe is sore. So let's go into the word sore in Hebrews 50 and 61. The word is nega. Hebrews 50 and 61, or niga, however you want to say it. Stroke, plague, disease, mark. And remember, a mark was placed upon Cain. That mark that was placed upon Cain was leprosy. Okay? Now, seeing that Cain came back reincarnated as Esau, that same mark was upon him. That white reddish mark, which consumed his whole body. So he was a natural leper, seeing that he was the first murderer. So when we call Esau the devil, we're not just calling Esau the devil because we're trying to sound like a whole bunch of Malcolm X's. In fact, Malcolm X learned after our elders and teachers. And Malcolm X, he was an Israelite who followed after the customs of the Muslims, the Arabs, okay? A lot of our people like to follow after these different nations and their ways, but don't want to repent and turn back to who we are. Okay. So when you go to Leviticus 13 and 13, it goes into what I said. This is the book of Leviticus 13 and 13. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, hence what happened to Cain, who came back as Esau, because when you look at these Edomites, they're lepers. Their whole body is covered in leprosy, but they're natural lepers. Okay. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. So Esau Edom is what's known as a natural leper. That's the mark that's been placed upon them going back to Cain, because they are the first murderers. All right. So when we say our people are of their father, the devil is Esau Edom. Proverbs 28 and 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So those who forsake the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you are of your father the devil, the first murderer, going all the way back to Cain, who came back as Esau, who today you call them Caucasians, you call them so-called white people. Okay, you call them Europeans, and they're not even the original Europeans. They're not even white. Okay, so our people are in the spirit of Esau Edom. Our people act as if Esau is one of us. Our people are of their father, the devil, the wicked, the devil, Esau, Edom, Cain. All right, all that is the same wickedness, man. And our people take after that spirit. Let's go to Matthew's. I'll end it here. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 38. The field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. Speaking of Esau, the enemy that sowed them is the devil. So the wicked one, aka the devil, same person, same people, the Edomites. Okay, they go back to Cain. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, whom is the father of the majority of our people, because they don't want to follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They forsake his ways. All right. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. So among our people are found Edomites who look like our people. Among our people are found Israelites who come off like they're serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You have the tares and you have the wheat. And when you look at tares and you look at wheat, they look similar. So if you start pulling out the tares, you might end up pulling out the wheat with it, as in you might think someone's an Edomite. You're condemning them as an Edomite, but really they're an Israelite. You're pulling out the wheat with the tares. That's why the angels, they know who's who, because there's a mark set upon the Lord's elect. Okay, and the Lord knows who his people are anyway. So any of our people who disregard this message, who disregard, what my brothers are doing, because we come in the spirit of the Lord, you're just showing that you are of your father, the devil. Okay? You are of your father, the devil. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and give all thanks and praises unto our power. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wa Rakakwadash. Shalom.